So a long day building marketing automations and workflows, but I didn't take my own advice and I got lost in some of the minutia. I don't think it's that mission critical of a piece to automate when a call is completed to move that call into the deal stage, appointment completed. However, I spent at least an hour and a half trying to figure that piece of it out when I'm building out this pipeline. If you haven't seen my other vlogs, I'm building a new lead nurture workflow that's based on a visual pipeline with a couple pipeline stages. And when you move the card from step to step, that'll trigger a bunch of automations. And when a sales rep books a meeting and has a call, that will automatically move that lead from new lead or phone call number one over to appointment scheduled and then appointment completed. But I spent too much time today trying to figure out some of the back end stuff, real tech stuff in HubSpot of building out these simple automations when at the end of the day, a person could just drag the card over. So if the sales rep remembered to do that, we would be fine. But I do know from experience, when you're the sales rep and you have a bunch of these meetings, the more automated that you can make all the reporting and the data tracking, like if I don't have to click meeting scheduled, if I don't have to move the deal point over, and you've got, 10 calls in a day, some show, some don't show, the less that you have to do on that sales rep, like the better, because at the end of the day, if things are missing and you're being held accountable for reporting that actual data and the data is not there, or it's not up to date, that's like a data integrity error. It just kind of like in the back of your mind, you're like, oh man, is this data accurate or not accurate? But that's once the lead's actually been captured. If you look at a stage in front of that, we're talking about the ad creative, the angles, the character avatar, all those sorts of things. So the offer that we're running is a 6-week program. Alex Hormozy, through Gym Launch and all the research that they did, just found that the free 6-week challenge worked the best. I'm not going to do it free, but I will allow people, if they purchase it for $600, to credit it forward towards like a discounted membership. So it ends up becoming free, or they're paying less than what they were. They just found that worked out the best. So I'm just going to go with what they've learned through thousands of gyms. 6-week fitness, accountability, and nutrition program. That'll be the offer, which the creative and the copy will talk about. And the angles that I'm leaning in on for this new ad, there's two sides. One is the male, the other is the female. The male, we're going after like the former athlete. So maybe you fell out of shape, you're not in the shape that you want to be, or you're currently at a gym, you're in pretty good shape, but you're not in as good a shape as you probably think you could be, and you need this next level of coaching to kind of level up. That's the male angle focus, and I'm testing 4 different headlines on that one. The female side is the customer story that we hear a lot from prospects is like, I want to strength train, I don't know what to do, I go to the gym and it's super intimidating, there's a bunch of bros on the floor, everybody's like looking at me, and so I end up just going to the treadmill because it's way less intimidating. And so we're spinning up 4 headlines to test for that type of person. Now I have no idea which headline is actually going to work. And at this point in my advertising career and experience, it's just better to have what you think are like good headlines and just test those. Something's going to generate leads or sales that you didn't even think was nearly as good as some of the other ones. So I've been using ChatGPT on the creative side. Now look, I'm a late adopter. I have not been using that stuff, particularly for my creative work, because I'm like, I want to know how to do it. I want to know how to write copy. I want to know how to write offers, because it's that knowledge that I'm going to be able to apply to make money, to do things. If I spit something into ChatGPT, I don't know if it's going to be good or if it's not going to be good. But what I have been doing lately is feeding it with enough prompts and things that I know. I'm like, hey, this is the offer. This is the avatar I want to go after. These are the things that he's interested. This is his age range. Can you give me 5 body copy ideas based on this long form that I've written right here, and reformat it into a catchier ad? You feed it into that and it spits back some stuff where I'm looking at this, I'm like, damn, this is really good. I can make a couple tweaks, but it allows me to like not be the copywriter, to feed it enough data and enough points, and then to like look back and now play editor of like, okay, change this, do this, boom, that's good to go. And I look at the time from ideation and idea to finished ad, I could ship this thing, and the amount of pain that I save myself from having to write and go through that stuff, it's significant. I can do stuff and ship stuff so much faster. And I'm thinking like, okay, if pace of play and taking action is like what you want to optimize for, I can get in my own head about like writing creative and being a perfectionist and taking way too long, when at the end of the day, you don't really know what's going to hit and what's not going to hit. So you should optimize for doing good enough and like shipping good ads. But the faster that you can do that and the faster that you can test, the quicker you're going to figure out what's working and what's not working. And then thus that's going to lead you to your money sooner. It's almost like I've got a really experienced copywriter for $20 a month, not even getting into all the other stuff that I can do with it as well. And I can cut down my workflow time significantly. So for me as a small business owner that's wearing multiple hats, if I can have on $20 a month, if I can feed it stuff on data analysis, if I can feed it stuff on copywriting, if I can feed it stuff on sales, if I can so on and so forth, all the different departments that I'm responsible for, and I can know the right prompts to ask this thing, I can get the content shipped right back to me like that. Now I'm able to wear all these different hats, but I don't have to spend the same amount of time creating this stuff, and I can put it into play. And I've kind of been meditating on this thing of like, all right, well, as me, the business owner who has all this insider knowledge, I could write, let's just say I could write the perfect email, right? ChatGPT, if I feed it the right prompts and those sorts of things, is going to get like 95% of the way there. The time spent is like, it's back in a second if I give it the right prompt. And then me writing an amazing email is, 2 hours. I'm just at this sort of front edge of figuring this out and like how to actually apply it, feeling a little bit of friction. I don't want to lose the availability to come up with these ideas or like write copy on my own. Like, am I going to use this so much as a crutch that I'm going to lose my availability to create ideas and write? Thinking about the Ralph Waldo Emerson piece where he says, society doesn't advance. It either advances in one direction, it recedes in another. Leveraging ChatGPT and AI can now, quote, do more with less effort, but what's that doing to my cognitive functioning and the way I'm able to think and maybe my concentration ability to sit with long periods of time and work on something? That'll probably take a hit, right? So it's like all those things kind of like balancing in my head. But at the end of the day, prioritizing the business, being my livelihood is so significantly tied up into this. If I can ship stuff more quickly, which means I can test and learn and iterate more quickly at a very high caliber and quality of work, it makes sense to use that thing. And then on the other side, with virtual assistants or hiring a marketing assistant, I could bring somebody in from English is not their first language, that they might not have some of the nuances of like the tone of our brand and how we like to talk and how we like to land in our prospect's mind and those kind of like subtle things. We could use ChatGPT and train it in a way to help that person that we bring on to have them now creating content, bringing it forth to me. I can just say, yay, nay, change this, go back to ChatGPT, do X, Y, Z. They can go do the work and now come back to me because they're just asking it prompts and now I can just approve instead of me having to go through this whole process. So now you've got like these multiple layers where I got to be as efficient as I possibly can from a P&L standpoint. And I can't have a bunch of people, got to run as lean as possible. So if I can outsource a lot of these different pieces and get labor cheaper because of the internet, yet still have a really high quality of execution and tone and those sorts of things that like land through on a marketing front. All right, big set right here. I've got a 20 kilo weight here, so that's 110. And I'm gonna go for max reps here with a 3-second eccentric. I think 2 reps would be solid. 3 would be super dope. Pretty good. What else we got? I'm currently hiring for a marketing assistant / social media content coordinator through Upwork. And my intent is to find somebody that, one, is going to be around for a while, 2, that has some experience in this zone so I'm not starting from ground zero and training somebody, and then 3 is going to be able to leverage AI and some of the other tools that are available to get what I want and the tone that I want to do and use with our brand, yet bypassing a lot of like the stuff that you just learn on the job by training and being here a really long time. I've got a ton of job applicants to get through. Such a reoccurring theme in what I've been doing now is like an upfront time spend, so an upfront investment to save yourself so much time down the road. And so often I think like we just don't do the thing in the beginning because we think it's going to be so much work, which it is. But once you like put that work in, focus on all the time that you're going to save in the future. Because once I hire this one person, like I'll be able to kick them stuff and they're going to start getting stuff done that either didn't want to do, didn't have the time to do, or wasn't organized to pull it all off. Put the right person in place, do it through a freelancer. You're gonna save on your payroll. And now if you can just be lights out with your organization and really on top of it and like forward thinking and putting the plan in place and then putting the other soldiers to sort of execute the plan, that's how I'm looking at 2025 and kind of everything I do going forward. Other thing I've been using AI for is YouTube title creation and YouTube thumbnail ideas. All the data and stuff that's already out there on how to write compelling titles. And man, like that's the hardest part. And you figure like I could have the best video ever. If I don't have a good title and I don't have a good thumbnail, nobody's gonna click it. It could be, you're not gonna get any views. And so you have to do some of these things with generating your title and thumbnail that is like better at getting somebody to click and come in through your content. But it's like you gotta spend a lot of time, you gotta have some knowledge on how to do that. So just put it in there, say like, help me generate a thumbnail and a title for this idea. Here's what the video is about. You give it some more context, give it a prompt, bam, it spits you back some stuff. And again, you've saved a lot of time and you've gotten some different options that you can just go through and pick and say, I want to roll with that one. You pop it up there, give me a thumbnail idea with this. It comes up with some cool graphic ideas. You make the graphic, you fly it up there, and round trip, you're done in 30 minutes where it would take 2 hours in the past. So I guess the other thing is I'm kind of like understanding as I'm just talking through this is just allowing me to do a lot of the pieces a lot more with the same one person. So I can do YouTube, I can do data analysis, I can write marketing emails for attendance challenges, I can write copy for ads. Honestly, all this stuff I've just been doing on my own anyways, but like this is just gonna help me level that game up and save time on other things and also build processes that I can start to get other people to do this work. So it's like a massive efficiency and a quality improvement. I'm sure there's tons of negative sides as well, but like that's my headspace and how I'm thinking about this stuff right now. Everything I do now, I'm trying to turn into leverage, you know what I mean? I got 81 subscribers on YouTube now. That's it. That's it, yeah. It's so much work for 81. It's hard, man.